Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel and welcome to my series Producing Idea in Chess. So in this series we have sort of an interactive chess course with me for my viewers, for my subscribers, and for those who are watching this series for the first time. In this series I always set up one particular position. It's always a complex middle game which you have to analyze for you at home and find the best continuation, find maybe some ideas in the middle game, because producing ideas in the middle game is really sometimes hard because there are this complex positions. But in order to help you, you have to ask yourselves always these 7 questions that you see in the right corner. So the main questions that you have to ask yourselves in the complex middle game are always this: what kind of pawn structure do we have? So I answer to this one. You see, we have now this so-called blocked pawn structure. So this pawns here are really not mobile. So this pawns on the B, C, D, E, and F file are really not mobile. The only mobile pawn structure that we have here is on the G and H file. So of course we should search really an attack here. That's the main idea here, because when we have the so-called blocked pawn structure in the center, there's nothing much to do. We have to improve the position of our pieces. So let's see now this other question: what advantages or disadvantages do I have in this position? So you see, we have now a very nice battery on the A file, and this bishop is also very active. It occupies the 7th rank already in our opponent's position. So this 3 pieces are really perfectly fine. We shouldn't really move these 3 pieces, because these 3 pieces are paralyzing all of these other pieces here in black's camp. You see, this bishop by black on g7, it's blocked out anyway, so it will be there for the end to the end of the game. The only active piece that black has here is the bishop on e8. This bishop on e8 at least has here sort of a diagonal, so here we should really search to trade off this main defensive piece, this bishop on e8. But in order to do that, we have to make some repositions in with our pieces. So that's the answer to the question number 3, because as said, we want to trade off this bishop here on e8, which is the main protector of these squares here. So that's why we should search really for sort of a reposition of the bishop on c2, bishop on d1, knight on g3, and then bishop on h5. Really, if we trade off these bishops, then black will continue the game really paralyzed with these weak pieces here. So that's the main idea here, because when you have answered to all of these questions, you have realized that black has basically black doesn't have counterplay here at all. And while answering these questions, it was very well recognized by one viewer, one of my subscribers here, the unnamed channel, answered here very nice with the here the answer is: there isn't much black can do for the moment, and I have time. This is very well recognized by unnamed channel, because here, if we just even continue to play something like bishop on c2 and I don't know, black tries here, if we go back again, black's position hasn't really improved. So let's see again, what can black do now after bishop on bishop on b1. Black can try maybe bishop on d7, but again we can do this. So you see, we can even make sort of a repetition of the moves, and black hasn't improved the position at all. So as you see, you have to realize, because we answered to all of these questions, that black's position is really paralyzed. So the other question is, do we have a collision? Should we search for tactics? So we don't have really a collision because of this blocked pawn structure. We have now really shortened a little bit our activity. We cannot create some tactical shots, because basically in some occasions a tactical shot in this blocked positions would be somehow to crack the position and maybe sacrifice a knight for these two pawns on d6, e5, or f6, but that's not possible. So here we shouldn't really search for tactics. We should really search just for an improvement of the pieces in the position. So where can I crack the opponent's position? As said, here we have only the mobility on the G and H file, so that's where we should really search for attack. Can I create an outpost? No, so far we cannot create an outpost. And what's my opponent's main strategical idea? So we answered all of these questions. So here black doesn't have any strategical idea because black is helpless here, and this was, as I said, really well recognized here by the viewer unnamed channel. So black doesn't have any counterplay, so here we should really try just to improve the position of our pieces in the position. So that's our main idea. And here I wanted to thank also Robin Morit, who is always participating in this series very actively. He answered to all of these questions. He said the pawn structure is static in essentials, which is very well said. We have a space advantage, which is also true. So we see we have occupied with the pawns already our opponent's 5th rank. So this d5 and f5 pawn are really creating huge space advantage, which black doesn't have counterplay against. So the other question is which pieces need improvement, and again Robin Morit very well answered. The bishop on b1 and the knight on e2 are poorly placed. Very well said. You see in the continuation, it's a game played by Anatoly Karpov against Wolfgang Unziker, that Karpov goes here bishop on c2, knight on g3, and then bishop on d1. So you see Robin Morit really answered here very well. These two pieces need improvement. This knight on h2 is very well placed, because it can go here maybe on g4, creating some attacks on h6, f6. So this knight will get improved maybe in a couple of moves. So let's see now Robin Morit's next answer. Do we have a collision? Should we search for tactics? So here also Robin answered very well. We have a collision on the a file. Where can I crack the opponent's position? We should pressure black c7 knight and with bishop on b6. And here I wanted to help Robin a little bit in this position, because when you have always very well placed pieces like here the bishop and the battery on the a file, we shouldn't really move these active pieces or try to trade them off, because if you try bishop on b6 like Robin said, and I didn't want to criticize Robin at all, I just want to see the possible continuation here. Rook on a2 can be played, rook takes on a2, and now maybe rook on b8, and this position is a little bit simplified now. Now black can try maybe go with this knight on a8, maybe knight on b6, then improve it to knight on a4. So you see, before this we had a really nice mobility. Black didn't have mobility at all in the game. With the bishop on b6, I think we are helping just black out here a little bit. Here the battery on the a file and the bishop on a7 are really paralyzing all of these pieces here on the queen side. The queen is badly placed anyway. So as said here, I don't think you should really move this bishop from a2, and you shouldn't move your rooks from the a file. So pardon me, we have now the other answer. We have no outpost yet, and black is aiming for kingside advance. So you see, as said, black doesn't have any counterplay here at all. So you see, if black tries something like after bishop on c2, maybe if he tries h5, then we can play again bishop on d1, knight on g3, and attacking this weakness. So you see, we can really maybe go king on h1 and try with rook on g1, attacking discovered attack. So I don't think that black is gonna here go for a pawn move, because black goes, I think, here simple for a draw, because black shouldn't really push here, because you can weaken your h5 pawn, and we can always challenge this with some attacks by our minor pieces. So let's see now the continuation, how the legendary Anatoly Karpov played this middle game. You'll see this was sort of a boa constrictor game. Anatoly Karpov was famous for his boa constrictor games, and I really like these types of games, because you see, you have to really have a good positional understanding, and that's why we have the series. That's why I try to help you out in this complex position. So let's see now. Bishop on c2 was played by Anatoly Karpov. Simple improvement of the piece. We are not doing anything with these rooks and the bishop. So bishop on f7 was played. Now knight on g3, also an improvement of the knight, aiming the h5. Now we have knight on b7. We have now bishop on d1. aiming, and as said, this h5 square. So that's why h6 we have bishop on h5. As said, we want to really weaken here the light square. So the light square bishop is the main defender here of the light squares in black's position. So here queen on e1, e8 was played, and now queen on d1. Knight on d8. You see, black is really helpless here. The black doesn't know what to do here with the pieces. Now rook on a3. King on f8. Now rook on a2. Also getting a little bit forward with the rooks. We can maybe improve the position of the rook by playing rook on g2. Here king on g8 was played, sort of a repetition of the moves. As said, black is really helpless here. Knight on g4. Now you cannot, of course, take bishop on h5. Then we can simply take. If you take the queen, then we have a very annoying fork with the discovered check, and you lose the queen. So after knight on g4, here king on f8 was played, and now knight on e3. Also a very nice reposition of the piece. King on g8, and now bishop takes on f7, knight takes on f7, and now queen on h5. Now queen on knight on d8, and now queen on g6. King on f8, and now knight on h5. And believe me or not, here black resigned, because you see, black is really paralyzed, and that's all possible because Anatoly Karpov realized the position that black didn't have counterplay at all. Now let's see the possible continuation after queen takes on g6. We have f takes g6. If you try something like knight on e8, we have knight on f5. Now you see, we are really attacking these light squares in our opponent's position. These knights are very well placed, but that's all possible because we got rid of this defender, or the key defender of light squares, of the light square bishop. So you remember back in the position, we really did this improvement of the position by the bishop on c2, bishop on d1, and then bishop on h5. So you see, we got rid of this light square bishop, which was the only active piece in black's position. At least it created some defensive ideas. Here a possible continuation can be maybe bishop on h8. Of course g7 is not possible so far, but if the knight removes, then we can play g7 and win the piece. So rook on a6 would be a continuation. Now we can simply go forward again, because now the bishop is paralyzed, the knight is paralyzed, all of these rooks and knights are paralyzed. So again, we're searching for the improvement of the position. So now the rook on a6 is again a move forward, and it's improving the position of the rook. Now we have the target here, the pawn on d6. Rook on b7, you see, protecting, but again black will have to use this other knight also just as a defensive piece, because now we have the d6 weakness, now we have the g7 weakness. Too many weaknesses in black's camp. Knight takes on h6 can be played. You see, we can grab a pawn here, bishop on g7, again knight on f5. Knight on d8, now we can take the pawn. After taking, we have rook takes on d6, rook on c7, attacking, but now you can play simply bishop on c5. If you take, then you have then you get checkmated with this discovered check. So that's why king on g8. Now we have rook takes on a8, and here bishop on f8 can be played, but now we can create the battery on the 8th rank. Rook on f7, and this is checkmate here after move 56. So you see, let's go back to this position where we started. We have here a very important move, this bishop on c2 idea, but that was all possible because we asked ourselves these questions: which pieces need improvement. So as said, Robin Moritz realized that we need this improvement of the position, and also by this unnamed channel very well answered. Black doesn't have counterplay here at all. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you enjoyed these ideas in the middle game. As said, maybe it's not one of the most fun series to watch, but I think you can really improve your chess skills here. While playing chess, you get many of this complex position, and I think I can help you out in order to get a better position understanding. As said, at the end of the video, we have again complex middle game. It's a game played by Magnus Carlsen here with the white pieces. So let's play like Magnus Carlsen. Here we have to ask ourselves again, what kind of again the same questions. What kind of a pawn structure do we have? What advantages or disadvantages do we have? Which pieces need improvement? Do we have a collision? Should I search for tactics? Where can I crack the position? Can I create an outpost? What's my opponent's main strategical idea? So here really find the plan, find a good plan, because here is really a complex game. We have many tactical possibilities. Here we have also a collision in the middle game by the pawns. So as said, find the best continuation here by answering these questions. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Meanwhile, you can watch my other videos from the series. As said, for those who have seen this video for the first time, please watch the video before this, because in this video I set up this position which you saw today. And you can also watch my basics in chess series, in which I show you opening principles, middle game strategies, and the end game strategies. And you can also subscribe to my channel, guys. Thanks you for watching, and chess is the best, of course.